This is the last time he's going to be here for at least a while.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions about his story.
Yeah, any questions at all, hop on there, comment, call in, and just let us know. And let us know if you have any questions. We'll clear it up for you or try to give a little bit of explanations to it. But we are now live again and a better format on a better phone than my iPhone 5S. Which iPhone is awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I can already say the image.
And everybody here has... Oh my gosh, really? You guys are driving me nuts.
Anyway.
But so then that was a very moving story, and that
very
had a lot of emotional, and it was very personal. So thank you for sharing that, Josh. Thank you. I know you've shared some of the story to me in pieces before, but you never went through in detail like that, and that was a very, very awesome story and very touching. And it shows to you that spirits can communicate to you to give you a little offer closure.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful with what you get from aisle 6 at Toys R Us because something else can come along too.
Yeah.
So, and Ouija boards are bad, so don't play with them, everybody. Stay away from them. Ever.
I never have.
Never have you.
At what point do you know, when this game was made, what was the point of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to make this board game. It's awesome. It channels demons. Who made that discovery?
It's like a disclosure on the instructions.
Yeah, it's a disclosure. Okay.
Really fine print.
It actually does that.
Does it?
Yeah.
It does, really?
It has a warning, yeah.
There's a warning label on it now? It's like...
Choking hazards.
Choking hazards?
Choking hazard Satan. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's not awesome, but that's awesome. Let's go to Toys R Us. And then go to church. At the old strip club. But, and I know you were talking too that you had some more experiences at the Crown Point jail. So why don't you, we got a little bit of time, why don't you just, shoot one at us. But I'll keep watching the chat room. So if you do have questions, ask away. And then I'll stop them and interrupt them and we'll answer them for you.
Please do.
This is a story. I'm not going to mention the guy's name. It is somebody important. A group that's on TV that was telling us a story, and his friend came up and talked about how he's a skeptic. He doesn't believe anything.
Okay.
He doesn't believe if you told him a story right now, he doesn't believe it unless he experiences it. So, but he believes in the paranormal, and the story he told us, it moved all of us. And the detail, his reactions, you could tell that it was serious. And so the story began is that he was doing home investigations, trying to help families.
Yes.
And somebody contacted him, and he actually went down there for a week. And so basically he was at the guy's house. He told him what happened. Hey, my wife passed away. It was just me and my 2 kids. And the problem we're having is they... Please do, I think you did. Come on, Josh.
Sneeze. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
James farted for anyone's
I had to
wondering.
sneeze and I wasn't expecting a fart to come out.
That's not paranormal.
Anyway.
Or is it?
Let's try to move on.
I continue.
James. Anyway, we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately.
Keep going. Sorry. Yeah.
Alright, so he's telling a story. The guy was telling him. It's hard, James. It's hard. Alright, so the guy was telling a story. He's telling that person basically what happens to their kids and him. It would space out, and it wasn't just 10 minutes. It was 3-4 hours. They would just stare at the middle of the living room floor, and all of them would space out. And then they would just basically come to kind of they all passed out, but they were awake
while they're doing it. Oh, okay, I got you
We'd
now.
all be watching TV, and then 4 hours later, all 3 of them
what just happened?
What just happened?
Yeah, lost track of time.
He's there for a week. He's investigating stuff, checking stuff, and nothing happened when he was there. He saw them space out and recorded it, but he couldn't figure out what was happening. Didn't get any EVPs, no, that was it.
Okay.
Staring off in space, so he thought maybe they had a medical problem. All 3 of them. Or something in the house that was, not supposed to be there, radon or whatever.
Environmental type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was doing his reports, and he's at his hotel, and he's about to go back to them and say, hey, I want you to get your house checked because I can't find anything here that shows me it's paranormal. And so as he's writing in his book, he said he sees this girl hopping. Like he said it was like an older, it wasn't like what kids wear now. She's probably like 17, 18 or something like that. And
Okay.
that's what caught his eyes because what she was wearing, it wasn't like the normal stuff. And so she said, I know you. She said, and he goes, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, you're on that TV show. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, can I tell you a story? And so he starts talking about the story she told him. She said, me and my boyfriend, we got married, and he proposed to me with a ring. And he's like, no, that's usually what happens when he, And so she's like, but I lost it. But then I found it. And it's the way he said the way she was talking was just different. And he's like, well, where did you find it? She said, I found it. It was under the floor in an event.
Really?
And he's like, what do you mean under the floor? He's like, under the floor in the vent is where you'll find it. And she left.
Okay.
And so he was like creeped out because he's writing a report about what's going on with his family. And so he's a skeptic about everything. So he wants to try every option he can do. And so he came with the idea of like, well, let's see if there's a vent under the living room floor. So he went to the house and he said, I really don't think anything's here paranormal, but I have one more thing I want to see. And he's like, can we go in your basement? And he's like, yeah. He said it was an open basement. He goes down, there's a vent that goes all the way across the living room floor. And he said, my company will fix your carpet. Can I cut it? He's like, we'll recarpet your house. And so he pulled the carpet back, and there was a vent that was covered up. Inside the vent was a ring.
Oh,
wow.
And so
that's pretty precise.
So that's what he said. And he said, and the guys started crying. He said, that's my wife's ring. We lost that when we built our house. We didn't know where it was at. And so he starts talking to the guy about all this stuff, about how his wife passed away. They grew up together, high school sweetheart, stuff like that. And he proposed to her when she was 17. And he's like, okay. And he's showing pictures. And in one of the pictures when she was 17 was a girl that came up to him when he was writing his notes.
Oh, okay.
At his hotel room.
At his
He wasn't
hotel room.
even at the house yet.
Yeah. Well, he really did investigate. This is when he's getting ready to leave.
Right.
And the girl that was in that picture was the girl that talked to him about the ring.
Damn.
And like all of us got goosebumps. They're like, holy crap.
Yeah, that when it hits home like that.
Yeah, and he's like,
you're just like, oh, okay.
He's like, I don't expect you to believe me because you didn't see it, but that's why I do this. So I was like,
Oh, absolutely. And we can all agree on this is the main thing that we love going to the flashy places. We love going to the Waverly Hills. We love going to the Missouri State Penitentiaries, hopefully Trans-Allegheny.
Right.
But we're here to help people. People understand that if there's something wrong in their home, you can ask for help. And we provide that service to come help you because
For free.
For free. And there's people out there that just don't know it. And they deal with it, or sometimes, it breaks up families. I mean, it tears apart relationships.
Yeah,
It drives
one
people
that
to commit
believes
suicide. It's crazy
Yeah.
what can take place in a haunting. So, if you are having issues, make sure you reach out. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
he said
You're not crazy at all.
because the question got brought up, like, well, what do they still have that same problem? They don't. They don't stare, nothing. So
Wow, that's pretty crazy. And then, to each his own. Everybody has their own experiences throughout the field. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, after we sit down and start talking, after a few minutes, you're like, okay, this something happened when I was younger and I couldn't explain it. So now I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And I have not had one person that I've talked to. I've had plenty of people tell me they didn't believe in ghosts, but after 10 minutes talking to them, they're like, they turn a different tune because you start explaining stuff to them just to help them understand. They're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Or they start telling stories that start adding up to them.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
then
don't
they're
believe in
like,
ghosts. And then they're
"Oh,
like,
you
oh,
got
well,
me."
I had this happen to me once, and then I had this happen to me once.
Yeah.
And it's fun. That's fun for me. Like, I just enjoy hearing people's stories.
Oh yeah, and then that's a big thing there. And like today, my nephew played out at Harrison High School at the baseball field, and halfway through, or going through the second, the second baseball game, I was like, oh, I'm going to go what any redneck would do. I'm going to go to the woods and hunt for mushrooms. You know, I'm just going to get those, those morels that are golden. Golden morels are so good. Oh my God.
God, you look uglier on this.
Oh, dang it, it's clear. But, and, when I first really started poking around here in Lafayette, I went to Pierce Cemetery, which is right there behind Harrison High School. Mm-hmm. I'm just walking through the woods, minding my own business, and I just somehow got turned around as I'm looking down for these mushrooms, and I walk right into the cemetery. And I started the other direction. So it's just weird how sometimes you can just navigate to a place, and that's totally coincidental, mind you. Totally coincidental, but walking in there, it still has the same feeling of sorrow, of, just as soon as I crossed that plane of the cemetery, it was colder, and it just brought back all the feelings of why I really started doing what I do, and started the group, actually, is because it reminded me, the families we have helped, and just being able to give them a little bit of closure, I guess.
Was it coincidental, or was something pulling you?
I don't know.
And you were inadvertent.
Yeah, it might have been. It could have been. It was drawing you. Yeah. Because when we started really investigating that place a lot, something followed Justin home into his apartment. There's audio evidence and everything of sound like somebody's running through his house and he's not even home. So it's absolutely crazy. And so it could have been, something pointing me back in that direction, say, hey, come back. So I walked around the cemetery a little bit just to gather some, to look around. I haven't been there in forever. But they're starting to upkeep it more, which is really good. But it's still on private property. You have to have permission to go there. So don't do what I did. I was there for a baseball game, if anybody asked. But I think, unfortunately, we're getting close to the end of our show, and I know you guys are like, dang it,
wrapping things up, right?
Yeah, we're wrapping things up, and I'm so happy we got to get everybody to come in and actually experience the show tonight, and you can get around there and actually see see everything.
It's okay.
Smoking is bad.
And don't do drugs.
Stay in school.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm so thankful Josh got to come on from Kansas and talk to us and share some of his experiences with him tonight. It was amazing. And
yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Stay tuned. We're going to be doing some other things here coming up in the next couple of months. It's going to be really cool. And, hopefully we can kind of bring you guys on board on one of these live shows at a bigger venue and actually have you participate in it, which I think that would be really cool. Yeah. So stay tuned for future posts about that, and we'll get that out there. And I think next week we're going to kind of go back into, since we didn't really want to talk about demonology on Easter, we just thought something was wrong there.
Yeah, and it was Easter, so that's why we were on.
We probably shouldn't. We probably, 6.
But thanks,
5.
guys.
Okay, guys. I'm counting down with you. And that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good night.